Okay, so let's start. Module number 3. We'll use the old malaria national data. Not old, but from our last module we have malaria data, so we'll call it malaria national, and we'll read the RDS file we saved last time, right? So we'll read the RDS file we found last time. Damn it. But it is still. Anyway, we'll read the RDS file we just found. RDS file we just found last time, and we'll say malaria. Sorry, it's always in quotes. So malaria national green RDS. So read the file. This is our file. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember it. So glimpse of malaria national. So 5 columns, entity, from entity, code to age groups, right? So 25,000 rows, 5 columns, just as it was before. Boom. So next thing you do, let's yeah, so pretty much this is the first reminder of what we did. So we're going to explore the data. We're going to ask each other a couple of questions. So exploratory analysis is pretty fun. It's well, it's the fun part, I guess, but it's also a lot of steps, and you're really gonna have to follow along properly if it will make sense to you. So if maybe this module 3 might be split into parts, but this is the meaty part, so make sure you follow it step by step. Anyway, so what we're going to ask, we're going to do a quick reminder. We're going to check how many countries and years we have in our data set. We're going to summarize the deaths by age group. We're not going to do any visuals and stuff. It's always better to do it with visuals, but just for the sake of this, we're not going to do it with visuals just yet. So we're going to check which age group suffers the most with malaria. We're going to check the top 10 countries with the highest burden. We're going to sum it all up. You've seen the objectives. Those objectives, we're kind of going to do them now. So yeah, let's go on to objective number 2. How many countries and how many years do we have? So new functions that we're going to have. Okay, so we're going to use a couple of new functions, but let's just follow along. Malaria national, then we're going to we're going to take malaria national script, and we're going to summarize it. So yeah, I'm going to summarize it. The summary function basically creates a table, or yeah, mostly it creates the table. So it'll work like this: n distinct what stands for countries again? Code? No, entity. So entity, comma, years, n distinct code, year, comma. So we also want to have the mean year. So we also want to have the mean year, and then we want to have the max year as well, just to give things a little more, just to make things a little spicier. So anyway, we run the code, and here's our tiny little summary. So we have 196 countries. So we have 196 countries. They are 27 years. 1990 is the lowest year. Maximum year is 2016. So yeah, essentially that's, we've seen a general, a better glimpse of our data than we had used for the previous function. So that's objective number 1. Objective number 2 is to, objective number 3 is to summarize the deaths by age group. So now, so summarizing the deaths by age group. So we'll create a new object. Let's call it deaths by age. We'll say malaria national, then we'll group by first. So we'll group by age group, then we'll summarize. First of all, when you want to summarize, we'll take the total deaths and we'll create some, I think it's some total deaths will be the sum of the deaths column multiply, and then we'll deny any false values. We'll also take total mean deaths. We'll also take the mean deaths, which would be mean deaths, cancel out anything that's not the true value, and then we use the groups function, because after the groups, after you use this function group by, it sorts data into groups. So we want it to kind of forget that memory. It's just a necessary step in this function, but we want it's like really important. So don't forget this weird step called .groups when you use the group by function. But just a pointer, group by usually goes together with summarize. It's the best. They're usually in tidyverse is usually what you use for aggregation. So group by and summarize. So this is the general. So that's the general function. We've taken the malaria nation data, we've grouped it by age group, and then we want to summarize it. So summarizing it, we've summarized the total deaths by taking the sum of all the deaths in that column. If the value is missing, then I've told it to ignore it. Same thing with the means. We've taken the mean deaths of in our columns. In our column we have a death, so we've taken just taken the mean of that. But we also don't want to just treat it like it is. The results it should give us should at least be arranged. So the arrange function is good to use. So yeah, total deaths. So I don't know if you get it. So deaths by age group. Total deaths under 5, so it has summed up all of them, and then 5 to 14 again, and then we've taken the means as well. I think you get the point. Use these functions together. So group by and summarize go together. Said group by age group, you'd have just produced the age groups without the extra steps. Summarize, and then you summarize, and so on and so forth. But for the sake of step-by-stepness, maybe let's do this. 1. Group by age group. So deaths by age here. Deaths by age. Group by age group. So under 5s, blah blah blah, and then 5 to 14. So essentially they've just been ordered, right? So, and then we summarize it. So yeah, the next step was the summary. So the summary is you take the total deaths, the mean deaths, and then you drop the grouping thing. So we do that again, and it gives us this. So what we wanted with the arrange function was just for this to be highest to lowest. So here, and then arrange, highest being the under fives, and then lowest being 72 order. So obviously for our data, we know that the most children killed under fives are the most killed by malaria, and then the grown-ups, as the oldies, are not killed by malaria as much. So yeah, that's important to know. Let's go on. So I think let's put a section here, deaths by age, and then we should go on to another objectives. Which age group suffers from the most malaria deaths overall? Which age group suffers from the most malaria deaths overall? So if we want to find that out, we can use the slice max function. Essentially, we already have this and we know that it's under fives, but the trouble is sometimes you would have really long lists. So in case you have a really long list, use the slice max function. Take the slice max of the total deaths, and then you say n equals 1. So what we've done is we've just taken the highest number of slice max basically shows us the highest number in that particular row. So yeah, in general terms, slice max returns the n row with the highest value of a column. So the column with the n row with the highest value of the column. So yeah, it brings out the highest value in that. Column. So if you had 50, 60 lines, you want to use slice max in your function. So I think that's it. We found out which age group suffers the highest. Next is top 10 countries that are burdened by the disease. So top 10 countries. So top 10 countries burdened by malaria. Which means now we're going to use this similar function, but we'll use what? We'll use countries. Rather, we'll add. Essentially we'll just take that and essentially use countries. So top 10 countries. Top 10 countries. Again, malaria national data. Group by it's not written as country again, it's written as entity. So group by entity. So group by entity, then summarize total deaths equals sum deaths. I didn't just copy and paste because I'm trying to force you and everybody else to. I'm trying to force you to actually type. It just gives you the muscle memory to actually do the thing. So equals And should we also arrange it according to the total deaths thing? Okay, I think since we're doing the top 10, we'll then use the slice max function. Slice max total deaths, comma, and n equals 10. So I forgot to add this. When using the slice max function, n gives you top, the first, just the highest row. So you increase the number depending on how many rows you want. So here when we say n equals 10, then we want it to basically bring us. So we've summarized the table. We've taken the malaria national data. We've grouped it by countries. After grouping it by countries, which are entities, I think we should have changed it to country because I keep forgetting. Anyway, group it to countries. We've summarized it by taking the total deaths, by creating a total deaths thing. By creating a function called total deaths, and then that total deaths was a sum of all the figures of all the years. You combine all of that, and then you do the mean. You drop the groups thing again, slice and then you just bring out the top 10. So when you compound it, it brings out this. This is the age group. Top 10 countries. Top 10 countries. According to us, we have Nigeria is the top. So for example, this guy had some random world. This guy's had a random world row, which I think is unnecessary. Anyway, at least it's what they did. I think it's the totals or whatever. But for now, for us, it's not really useful. So I suggest we change it to like top 11. So top 11 shows, so Nigeria up to Cameroon. So ignoring the world thing. Yeah, pretty much. So we've now arranged it. I've now arranged these according to. We've now discovered the top 10 countries which are affected by malaria. Highest being Nigeria, with 50,000 mean deaths versus Cameroon, with 4,990 mean deaths. So I think you get. I hope you get the point of how exactly that worked and how each step worked.